Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of G Bears Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. It is May 4th, 2020, and yeah, you see them up on the new little roost I made for them. This was the old grapevine that the ground squirrels had destroyed on me. They ate up the whole root ball on it and killed all of the leaves off of it and ate all the grapes. So it just saved. I just kept looking at it thinking I had to do something. Well, you see what I did. I put them all inside of a garden house. Well, today I fastened it to a board and put it inside of here, and the little chicks love it for a roost. They get up there and they can look out through the wire here and see things that they couldn't see before. They also like their other little roost over there, and they love the one inside the coop. They go in there early now. They all get up on their roost and wait for me to come and close the doors. I will be putting automatic closers on these doors down the line, but for right now, I like to make sure that they're inside before closing the doors. And here's Brewster and Nellie down here. Nellie's still not laying eggs. She's big enough to lay an ostrich egg, but she's not laying eggs. But that might change in a little while. I've been doing some modifications over here. One thing I did was I got in and raked the whole area out today, and there was a gap underneath the flooring that I put over there on the new section for the when I modified the coop. So I filled that in with dirt, and then I put a couple of pieces of trim right where the OSB meets the siding over there, because there's a gap there, and the only thing that really will go in there are bugs, but a mouse could squeeze through that also, and I don't want rodents in my chicken coop. So that'll be tomorrow's little job, is to make up two strips that I can just tack up there with a couple of screws, and that's taken care of. So what else did I do today? Well, the wind finally let up. And funny, the weather report yesterday said that the wind was not going to let up. It said it was going to go for the next couple of days. Well, guess what? They're wrong again. So the wind did stop. You can see every now and then I get a little gust, maybe 10 miles an hour or so. But for the best part, it's been down to 3 or 4 miles an hour. Just a nice breeze for working. So I did make up the rest of the boards I needed to infill the sides here where the doors used to be. And I made up pieces to fill both sides here on both sides of the door. And before anybody asks why I didn't take the centerpiece out and put pieces all the way across, a couple reasons. Number one, waste of wood. Number two, down the line, I could always take these boards off, and I can add another roosting box or a nesting box on each side of the door, and quit wasting space, right? Because I'll be getting more chickens as they start hatching eggs. Yeah, put them on this side also, so they're all sealed. Now, all of those boards, as they go in, I made them shiplap. And what's a shiplap? Well, I'll show you right now. You see the little groove that I cut here? It's what they call a rabbit cut, and one fits over the other. See, so it's got an overlap. It's not butt joint, joint to butt joint. It's a overlap. So when this gets wet and swells, it actually makes it a tighter fit. But water will run down this, and it won't go back uphill, so it'll keep on going down. It won't go into the coop. So that's the way I did all of the boards on there. These were little cutoffs, and what you did that with is a router bit like this, and you can see I set it for 5/16 deep, and then this is 5/16 from the bearing to the tip of that. So it's 5/16 by 5/16, and that's what I end up with right there. And it makes a perfect shiplap. Another thing, Harbor Freight Drill Master. This is their lowest end one, and I had to go to Harbor Freight anyway. Well, I didn't really have to go there, I was in the neighborhood and my neighbors asked me to pick up one of those shade cloths for their garden because I gave her some of my plants, and she wants to get them into the ground, but the sun is getting too hot and it's going to cook those plants. So I said, yeah, I'll pick you one up when I'm out there. And I had a couple of 20% off coupons, so I got her one. I think it was 16 by 20 was the size, or 15 by 20, something like that. But anyway, that's the same as what I used on my Coop. I've got 3 of them up there. So this I had a coupon for also. And this, believe it or not, this 4.5-inch angle grinder was only $9.99. Isn't that something? And the reason I bought this was because I've got some others that I bought, oh God, it's got to be 15 years ago. And I'm still using them. And I don't use these cheap composite blades anymore. I use the new diamond blades. They're dry cut diamond blades, and they last a lot longer. But these type of blades are great for cutting nails and things like that. Anyway, I'm going to turn it on. It's going to make some noise. Not bad, huh? For 10 bucks. So I'll get some use out of that. I had another one, a blue one, and for some reason I can't seem to find it. I'm going to have to clean out the van and see if it got stuffed in behind some other things that are in the van, and get that one back to use. That one's even older than the orange colored ones that I have, and it still works fine. It was a knockoff of Makita, and I love it. I really do love that one. All right, so I put the latch on the door so that I can latch the door at night, and then inside here I moved their grit or their scratch up here. This is supposed to be a nighttime scratch, but it looks like they got up here and got into it already, checking things out. And then this used to have the little cups on it with the little tabs that they could hit with their beak, and it would give them water fed by that barrel outside. Well, every one of those things got clogged up, and the valves weren't working right, and sometimes they'd leak. So I took one of the yellow buckets that I had laying around, just one of them, and I ran it through the table saw and cut it down so it's 4 inches deep. And then I put a notch in it here and there so that it slides under the bar and it holds it so they can't knock it over. So they have water in here and they have food in here for the nighttime. So where's Nellie? Oh, there she is. Nellie, now I filled in that hole where the snake came in through, and then the old critter hole. I still haven't put in concrete in it. As soon as I closed it off, Nellie went over there and dug it open again. So apparently she likes what comes through that hole. Crazy little bird. All right, so anyway, I did get that done, and I did clean out a little bit more of the coop here because they like to roost right in this area, right above the nesting box. And it looks like Nellie has switched over to using this nesting box because I've noticed that it's been shaped out a little bit, starting to get a nest going. Hopefully she'll get in there and lay some eggs. So this roost, I'm going to have to modify this somehow so it's not blocking the doorway coming in. But if I cut it short here and there, it's still going to be blocking the door. If I put a bracket here to hold it up at this side of the door and this side of the door, then I'll have 2 roosts. But I want to build more nesting boxes up above here on both sides. So to build those nesting boxes up here, I'm going to have to take this out of here. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, what I'm going to do with it. It'll come to me. A lot of these things, and I should just think about them, and I don't know what to do. I just go to bed, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I go, oh, yeah. and then I get up and go do what I gotta do. All right, so we got that covered. Gonna close this up and lock the door so that they're safe in there. For lunch today, I went into the garden house, the Garden of Eating, and in the Garden of Eating, baby, don't you know that I'll always be true? Okay, anyway, I decided that I was going to have myself a great salad today. So I came in here with a bowl and I started picking stuff out for my salad. And it's so easy to go overboard when you've got a lot growing. So I came in and well, you can see there's a couple of plants of spinach missing. That's because I gave those to my neighbors up the road, and I gave her the whole plant, so you can pop off the outer leaves and eat those in a salad and let them keep on growing, and then just keep popping the outer leaves off and let the center leaves keep replacing them. So they last for a long time that way. When they get big like this, you want to get those off of there. So I pulled a bunch of those off today, and I use those in the salad. Same thing with the outer leaves. You see my cabbage heads are starting to form. The outer leaves here, all they do is they collect sunlight. So the ones that are up underneath, I pluck those off and either feed them to the chickens, or I took one today and chopped it up and put that in with my salad. Then I came to my celery, and I took one of the outer ends of the celery that's matured, and some of these are getting ready to go to seed, as you can see in here. They're bolting because of the heat. So what I'll do is I'll cut that off of there and feed that to the chickens so that it doesn't go to seed, so that it keeps on growing. Got a couple of them here that need to do that too. And then anyway, I plucked off a couple of stems of celery and I brought those in. And then I took some romaine lettuce and I took some iceberg lettuce from back there. And I took some beets greens and I took a fresh radish out of here. And I took a couple of little small kale leaves. Then I took a leaf off of the cauliflower that I had given to my neighbor yesterday. And I didn't put it all in. I just took, I chopped it up and used part of it. So then I came down the line. I went over and I cut off one of the green stems of the onion over there that's going to seed. And then I chopped the onion up and I put that inside the salad. So it was like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I went through this whole place. I got a little bit of everything. I've got to come back and stake up my tomatoes. They're starting to bend over and lay down because of the weight. So I'll be doing those in a little while. And then I came over here and I plucked off some arugula, and I brought some arugula in. And with all of that, and I had a Roma tomato inside, a nice ripe one, just delicious as it could be. And I took some smoked turkey breast, sliced smoked turkey breast that I had bought for sandwiches. I took two pieces of that and I cut that up into little strips and topped it off. A little bit of ranch dressing on top of there, and oh my God, was that a delicious salad. It was absolutely delicious. I licked the plate. It was so good. So I'll probably be doing that again for lunch. Just come through here and grab a little bit of everything. Tonight for dinner, I'm making a steak ranchero, which is cut up pieces of beef in strips. And then you pan fry those with a little bit of oil. You can use olive oil or vegetable oil. I like the vegetable oil myself. And I dice up a couple of tomatoes, throw those in there. Dice up some onion, throw those in there. And a jalapeno, and throw those in there. And then some cilantro leaves. I get a bunch of cilantro leaves off the cilantro here. And I throw those in there. And then I cook the whole thing down and then squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon juice over the tops of them all. And oh my God, cook that down and then reduce it just a little bit so that the tomatoes turn into a sauce along with the onions and the jalapenos and all that. Just delicious. don't even have to add any salt or pepper to it because it's got the spice from the jalapeno, and the tomato makes it taste salty already. So just delicious. And I usually eat that up with a little bit of flour tortillas. All right, so my peaches are growing quickly here. See some nice big ones on there, and I'll be eating peaches pretty soon too. So got a lot of produce coming out here. I want to show you the grapes over here. They are really growing fast. Look at this. Yep, grapes everywhere. So I'll have to get out here and re-water again. The winds are starting to come up again right now. And by the way, my my little new handle on the repair of my hand spade here is the best handle in the world. It's a piece of 3/4 inch conduit and solid as a rock. And boy, when you dig in with that, there's no flexing in the handle at all like there was with that old plastic handle. All right, everything's coming up great here. So I'm going to cut this one off, go back in, have myself a cold one, and come back out and stake off all these tomatoes so that they don't get blown over if the winds come back up. This is G Bear reminding you, give me a thumbs up down there, please. Like my videos. And then don't forget, comments down at the bottom, questions down at the bottom. I try to get back to everybody in a timely manner. And if I don't, call me on it. And this is G Bear signing off.